I've seen professionals and old school shooters still doing these mistakes. So make sure you stick around to the end because you don't want to be making these mistakes. Mistake number one is shooting only disposable cameras. These are the cheapest cameras and your photos will show it. The lens is plastic and it's super wasteful since the entire camera gets thrown out after development. Plus, you're locked into a limited film stock. Instead, I recommend getting a point and shoot similar to this one. You can reuse it and load it with whatever film stock you want. Some of these even have settings that you can mess with. You can find these cameras at thrift stores or third-party camera resellers. I seriously recommend checking out Socal Cameras as they have everything that you would want for film photography. Second mistake is not shooting enough film. You always hear people say slow down and be intentional. And I agree, but I have found myself undershooting. That's because I was afraid of wasting money and messing up. The problem is you don't grow if you don't fail. That's how you learn. So don't be afraid to mess up and get those reps in. If the budget is an issue, keep watching. I'll mention some affordable film stocks that you can try. Mistake number 3 is thinking that better gear will get you better photos. Sure, a Leica is beautifully made, but it's not going to make your photos better by default. There are so many cheaper options that give you incredible results. For example, the Canon AE1 is an absolute tank, and it's the first camera I even started out with. You can find them for about $150, and lenses are super affordable. Don't get caught up in chasing gear. Focus on leveling up your skills with what you already have. Mistake number 4 is underexposing your film. If you're coming from digital, you've probably heard that underexposing protects highlights. But with film, that's literally the worst advice that you can do. Film gets really muddy when underexposed and does not do well, but it handles highlights super well. So you want to actually overexpose your film. For example, if you're shooting Portra 400, rate it at 200 and have the lab develop it at box speed. It'll give you richer tones and softer shadows and really more flexibility in editing. Now, if you're using a point and shoot, the camera reads the little DX codes on the side of the roll. You can either use stickers or scratch in your own code with a knife and some tape. I'll do a full breakdown on this soon, so make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss it. Mistake number 5 is not practicing loading and rewinding your camera. This one's not talked about enough. You have to get comfortable loading and rewinding whatever camera that you are using. Doesn't matter if it's a point and shoot or an SLR. Grab a test roll and practice. You can use messed up roll from a failed shoot or expired film. The point is to get rid of that nervous energy when loading film. I was terrified the first time I loaded my bottom loading Leica, but once you do it a few times, it becomes second nature. You don't want to miss a shot because you messed up the reloading of your film. Mistake number 6 is opening your camera mid-roll. This usually happens when people think that the film isn't advanced. Opening your camera mid-roll will expose your film to light and ruin your shots. Sure, if you have a dark bag, you might be able to save it, but your frame count could be off or your film will not advance properly anymore. Mistake number 7, only shooting one film stock. This one I'm guilty of too. Portra is amazing and arguably the best film that's out there, but that doesn't mean it's the right choice for every situation. I've found myself reaching for Portra for anything and everything, but why spend $20 on a roll when you could get the job done with gold or Ultramax? Don't miss the budget stocks. They're super versatile and honestly, they force you to get more creative. Try some black and white too. It's all about getting out of your comfort zone and experimenting. Mistake number 8 is getting your film developed at CVS or Walmart-like stores. This is a huge one and almost no one talks about it until it's too late. They usually use an old generic one-size-fits-all chemistry setup and that can absolutely ruin your negatives. And there's no fixing that after the fact. Once that film is poorly developed, it's done. Instead, find a local lab or a trusted one online. These labs treat your film with care and consistency. The difference in quality is night and day. Mistake number 9 is not editing your film scan. This one is even one that experienced photographers still argue about. Some people think editing film is cheating, but the truth is photographers have always been editing their work. Dodging, burning, contrast control, all of that came from the darkroom. The tools we use today way in Lightroom or Photoshop are built on those same principles. Now, you don't have to go crazy. I like to stay true to the original scan, but just pull out the stuff that I love. Highlight the tones, correct the exposure, add some subtle contrast. You're not faking it, you're just finishing the process. And if you're wondering how to edit film, because it is different from digital, I'll be dropping a full editing breakdown and free presets very soon. So definitely subscribe so you don't miss it. Honestly, the biggest mistake of all is thinking that you've got it all figured out. Stay open, stay curious, because once you think you know it all, that's when you stop growing as a photographer. Drop a comment down below with the mistake that you made starting out, or a mistake that I missed. And if you're into film photography, check out this next video.